I mean, whenever you read in like the Wall Street Journal about like interview with some CEO or something like that, it always starts out with what's their workout routine. And I think that's telling that successful people have this, a lot of successful people have this outlet, this physical outlet. Because you read it and you're like, I don't care about, you know, lifting weights or whatever, your CrossFit challenge or anything like that. But you see that all these people are doing it, and it's like, there might be something there. And for me, there is something there. And I think it is that sort of mastery of self. And, you know, we're still animals, we're built a little bit to move, and if we don't, it gnaws at us somehow. That's my, you know, uninformed, the non-peer-reviewed theory on it. Other patterns that I've seen, the other thing I like to do, I mean, running physically separates me from the screen, the market. I also like to go for walks, just, you know, I'm not gonna go for a run like in the middle of the day or something like that, but I might go for a walk, and it's like, oh, where the heck am I? Like, I'm out, it's sunny, like, there are birds, there are trees, and I think that's helpful to look around and see like, oh, you know, that's a nice tree, and oh, the tulips are coming up, and it's like, they don't care if the demographics are really bad, and so like, you know, everything's gonna be terrible for the next 20 years, or they don't care if the Fed is printing all this money and like, we're gonna have hyperinflation, or whatever it is that's swirling around in your head. Like, the birds are gonna keep chirping regardless of what happens to that stock, regardless of what happens to that thing, and it, like, get out of that swirling vortex of whatever is hurting you. That's something I like to do. The other thing, and this is from a book, Hour Between Dog and Wolf, which I think is a really great book about, you know, the relationship between your brain and your body in terms of financial markets. Two things I got out of that. Well, he's like, we're built to be stressed and then release the stress, stressed and release the stress. That's how we move, and that's how we live properly. And to release stress, you want to go somewhere familiar and be around people where your body can be like, oh, okay, I'm safe here. So you don't want to go to Aruba and like have a lot of pina coladas. Like, that's not how you release stress. That's actually a stressful scenario, unless you're from Aruba. What you want to do is go home or go to your office where there are people that you trust, be in a familiar environment. That will allow you to calm down. And the other thing you can do is put yourself in cold, because cold, like, this primitive part of your body will sort of shut down. And so what I've done a couple times already this year is fill a bowl with water, put in ice cubes, and then submerge my face in. It's ridiculous, except for the fact that I just like, oh, it's not so bad. So I had that like the Friday after February 11th, in 2016, like, I think it was the 12th or something like that, and I check my stocks after the market has closed, and I was like, oh. And I was out at a coffee shop reading a Form 10, and I was like, I can't read anymore. I gotta go. So I went back to the office to try to be somewhere safe and known, and I put my face in ice water, and it was just like, and I felt better. And I also had until Monday, like, I could not do anything even if I had like been crazy enough to do something. But it was like, wow, I can't think anymore. I can't read. Like, I'm done for the day. Yeah.
And what was the book you mentioned again?
The Hour Between Dog and Wolf, and I think it's by John Coates. He worked at, I think, Goldman and maybe Deutsche Bank in their derivatives department up to like 2000. So he was watching the internet bubble and what it did to people on the upswing. And he was like, these people are insane. And he had a friend who was at Rockefeller University studying like neuroscience of how, I think it was monkeys, how monkeys react to stress and positive. So like euphoria. And he was like, this is like a clinical population. The Wall Street traders are a clinical population. They're all like acting like they're on some sort of super uppers. And so he got interested in that and studied it, and then he wrote a book about it for us. So yeah, so for $20 you can learn all about that. But the two punchlines from here: go somewhere normal and safe, not somewhere exciting and cool, and put your face in ice water.